It's stressful, it's easy, it's challenging, it's hard, it's long hours, it's boring, it's difficult, it's time consuming. It's none of those things. So stop playing that song in your head right now. And what I will say though is it is a valuable experience, and I now know what not to do for my business or clients that I manage paid media budgets for of that size. Now let me explain why it might be useful to your 1 to 12 person team. First things first, when you deal with teams over 50 to 100 people, you're essentially doing some level of small business corporate level shenanigans, right? Now, depending on how dialed in they are when it comes to systems, HR, culture, etc., that's going to determine the difficulty level. But what I can say is the challenges that are going to come with having non-creative people or well-researched people in roles or in charge of items that require creative and experienced minds to understand. Otherwise, what's going to happen is more than likely you're going to end up blowing a bunch of money on ads that don't work. And again, I have to preface first by saying I know there are tons of people talking about media buying and paid ads, right? Or ad tracking with Hyros. And if you want specific knowledge on any of those topics of those fields, then there's plenty of content to choose from YouTube. However, my perspective is from someone who can create the creative, design and produce the creative, edit the creative, set up the ads, manage the ads and the ad spend, analyze the ad spend, analyze the ad performance, compare creatives in different niches with thousands of other content on social media, and develop software tools to make that whole job a lot easier. That's what I do. That's me. So it's a different perspective other than just hype, clickbait, thumbnails, and 30-day dreams. And I've seen $500,000 go through an account with a relatively decent sized company. And I want to help you by sharing some mistakes and successes worth noting. First things first, trim the amount of responsibility for creative and ads to as little amount of people as possible. The worst thing you have happen is something called too many cooks in the kitchen. And basically what that means is there's too many staff members trying to control the recipe of something that you're working on creatively. Now, this is bad because you don't accomplish anything anytime soon or anything great. What you need is 1 to 3 people max on one particular area. And even within that small hub, each are going to have specific things, that they are doing in that group. But not all people doing the same things or overlapping things. Because if that happens, then your final dish, which is your creative, which is going to come out tasting terrible. And you don't want that. So the next thing is add creative administration, meaning you might need to review how you actually manage your creatives before they get posted or how they're going to be tracked other than the platform that you're running ads on. And I say that to say because it's for internal reasons, right? Last of all, how your ad sets and ad creatives, ad groups in Meta are named, that's important. What drives me up the wall is when clients have their creative names, for their sales funnel, something like May 12-15. And then they proceed to do that every other creative, right? This is horrible for someone coming into your organization because they have to break down your name in shorthand code first before they do anything. And that's no bueno. The next thing is leveraging trends and social media interests as fast as humanly possible. So in order to capitalize off of social trends, you need to designate people on your team and have people happy to be on camera. If you have no one to do that, then it's absolutely paramount that you hire someone to replace them. And I can recall a time I saw a perfect trend, literally perfect, to leverage with a client. And there was even a possibility to collab with this person who was in the trend, getting millions of views. Anyways, nobody wanted to actually film the content for whatever reasons, and I couldn't get it signed off on the content or the person. The trend passed, the opportunity was lost, and the chance to actually, capitalize off of that organic reach had gone. When you're running creative ads plus organic content, you shouldn't really pass up on relevant trends to your niche because you never know who the content will reach. But if you don't even attempt it, then how will you ever know? The organic goes hand in hand with the paid media that you're running, because if you have content that goes viral, let's say, organically and you're running ads on top of that, then you're going to see additional coverage for free, which could assist in making your ads even more valuable if customers or clients are coming to your channels organically. It's sort of like a bonus on top of your normal pay. Think of it like that. So being decisive, swift in your content distribution is absolutely vital. And another point I should make is that once you have organized your small paid media buying team, or even if you're yourself running these ads, or you might be outsourcing certain roles, then you should decide your media budget for the entire year rather than thinking of it in terms of days, weeks, or months. Because if you map out the entire year and what that might look like in terms of campaigns, deadlines, milestones, etc., and how much you're prepared to spend and how much you can spend, right, then you're going to start to see how the campaigns you develop will perform over time. Doing things haphazardly or switching from week to week isn't the best strategy, because for the most part, you're going to lose momentum turning ads off every other week. And I've worked on large paid media accounts and small ones as well, and the results are pretty much identical, when it comes to shutting down creative ads too early. Facebook takes time to learn the content that you've uploaded, and they need time to figure out who the ads should be shown to. So if you turn the ads off too quickly, then you're just going to be wasting your money and won't see any results. Hence why thinking about your paid media budget and plan over a 12-month outlook is most definitely a much better idea, as you're not going to be, quick to blow through budget on flippant campaigns that pretty much don't bring you any results. Another thing I've learned working with clients is that you should only run paid media campaigns if you can actually afford to and have steady cash flows coming in for your business. Now, that might seem like I'm stating the obvious, but it's true. I've seen clients, even after explaining to them thoroughly how they work and what's required, they somehow think that they can either get away with spending the least or they can just turn the ads off whenever and still get results. Doesn't work like that. So your business should be able to financially support the outlay of however many thousands a month on paid media buying, because as I said earlier, you gain absolutely nothing from stopping and starting ads. So this is more of a point for you to think about, before you actually start your paid media campaigns, assessing your business cash flow and channels, because it interlinks with your outlay on the ads themselves. There's an assumption that if you pay for ads, they magically will start producing results immediately, which, despite what some gurus say, just isn't true. Hence, working with people like myself or my business, we look at multiple aspects of the business before making key decisions. We do thorough analysis across your tech stack, your business model, and your creative infrastructure that you have in place. The truth is, figuring out the creatives that work isn't your biggest challenge. Maintaining continuity through paid media over the course of 12 months is key to seeing some success, and that's probably the biggest challenge. So keep your team lean, delegate responsibility to those who need to make decisions. Don't slow down on innovation or the iteration process, and just let people do what they do best. Right? Making content, it shouldn't feel chaotic. So watch this video if you have time, where I break down the reason why.